Let's
Look,
go.
listen. I done been on big ships. I done been on little ships.
Yo, I
Mm-hmm.
just got the
But the
new
best
thing for
thing
the
in
summer.
life is
Now I need me a boo
friendships.
thing for
Bet
the
that up,
summer.
Reno.
We can
Salute.
kick it like Luke Kane for the summer. You can't tie me up though. Shit, I don't even tie shoestrings for the summer. I just let them hang like a new chain for the summer. Speaking of, I double the Cubans for the summer. Black girlfriend, like really? 2 chains for the summer? But I done blue chains on a few things.
The primary purpose of the CAF podcast is to express platform for creatives to express their personal views or opinions without restriction or censorship. All views or opinions expressed during the CAF podcast are solely those of individuals expressing such views or opinions and does not reflect the views of the CAF podcast.
All right, let's see. What do we have? I like stuff on the table. So, no, you're good, sir. Thank you.
I appreciate this. Oh, you got your own name on it. Okay. So let me just say this, because we rolling, but you do realize this is you.
What you mean?
This whole podcast is all because of you.
No, but thank you.
So you remember when we first started, I started teaching sports communication, and we started talking about videos and stuff?
Yeah.
Do you remember the app you told me to use?
Yes, I do.
What was the name of it?
Shoot. Don't tell me. Hold on. StreamYard.
No, the other one.
Kenny Master?
There you go.
Kenny Master, yes.
All my videos that I do with
Yeah.
the podcast, I use King Master. And when we first started, everybody think I got like this high budget production stuff, and they don't even know like all these videos.
All Kenny Master.
King Master.
Yes, it is one of the most usable. I still use it to this day. It's one of the most functional.
They think I got like right
production
now.
facility.
They think I got this big production. They think I got all this stuff downloaded, but it's literally Keymaster. And I tell people, just press record, download Keymaster,
and play with it. Right? I taught my students it, and it was probably one of the best finds I have. And especially if you want to get real fancy, the packs, it's not that expensive, right? And
it's on it like during the crazy part during the pandemic, they had it for $20 a year. $20 for the year.
Wow.
It just went up. Like I'm I guess what you call
annual subscriber.
No. I'm bigger than that. I'm somewhere the king because I got a crown and diamonds on.
Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah, the one
like,
you do all.
And I only pay them, but like I think I paid $30 for the whole year.
For a year, I got this, which the packs, the music, the effects. There's one that I want you to think about using that integrates with that particular app, Beat Sync. Have you tried Beat Sync?
Man, I'm strictly King Master because I fell in love with it.
Well, Beat Sync is a complement to King Master.
Okay.
Right? So they're owned by the same company. So Beat Sync, what it does, it takes video, photos, and let's say you want to sync it to music so that it can go in as B-roll and do other stuff. You can do that with this app, and it integrates with it. Check it out, Beat Sync. It's simple, but when you're doing like VO videos, overlay videos, and you need some quick jump cuts, it's almost AI intuitive, so it does the jump cut without you having to cut.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got it. Well, we're here at Cal Podcast. We're here with another episode, man. Summertime in the Cal. As you know, Cooter and Perk, they're on break, so this is just me doing it. And politics, I wanted to get into it because I'm not into it, but I follow it ever since 2016. So I was trying to figure out who can I get. Well, it's a guy in my back pocket. Ran for councilman, District 14. I was about to say that. Won it, and I just have his number. So let me tell you who he is. First of all, native of Jacksonville, Florida, graduated from Reebok. Now, this is where the conflict come in because he went to the school with the white tiger. I went to the school with the original tiger. As you can see on his hat, he's a graduate of Jackson State. I'm a proud graduate and alumni. Let me get in the way of him. Of the Grambling State University.
Oh my goodness.
That's where the conflict comes in, right there in that point right there. But as we continue,
do y'all love?
As we continue, this man got both his degrees and his doctor, but let's get past that education part. Because what you don't know, this man is an actor, a philanthropist, he's a professor, he's hosted so many stuff here in Jacksonville, which I didn't know. he said it earlier. I didn't wasn't paying attention. He was on Nickelodeon. It's a whole bunch of stuff arranged. This like I don't know if he can sing, but I'm gonna put him in that box with Jamie Foxx. Maybe because if you had his and I saw the video on Facebook about you with your freestyle rap on Nickelodeon. Don't worry, we're gonna play that too. But ladies and gentlemen, it's so many things I could call him, but right now we're just gonna call him Councilman Johnson. Councilman Johnson, welcome to the Cal.
Hey Jay, it's such an awesome opportunity to be here with you and the team, and you know we met as brother professors at Edward Waters, and before I got my PhD, but our work that we were doing and that we continue to do to educate young folk in this country, I think is so necessary. So thank you for the great introduction, but thank you for most importantly for the work you're doing to cultivate young minds and move them into a better space of being.
Appreciate that. All right, so we got a couple questions I got to get to.
Sure.
First question that we asked in the Cal, we stole this from Charlamagne the God.
Yep.
Councilman, how is your mental health?
Amazing. Therapy is important. We all need to be in therapy. I'm a meditator.
Okay.
I believe that prayer is my connection and conversation with God, but meditation is when God has the space to speak to me. So many of us think that when we pray, we're in that spot of this is all I need to do. But usually prayer involves conversation and us asking questions.
Okay.
Right? Sometimes you just need to be silent. And that's the beauty of what meditation is, because then God has that space to speak to me. So I believe just like fitness is so very important to me, so is mental fitness and mental health.
Also, like a slightly bodybuilder on the low. Continue.
Love fitness, love going to the gym, love working out. But I will tell you that my mental health is just as important. I'm a journaler. As you know, my book was the book I wrote in 2021.
Hold up. Author. I don't think I said author. Go ahead.
But it won Book of the Year from the American Library Association in 2022. I'm working on a couple of other books, but I will tell you that one of the things that was inspirational to me that helped me be better with my mental health is my mother passed away. In 2019. And we, knew each other. They're not close. We were getting to know each other, but I was still teaching. And as the only child of an only child, psychologically, that's a gut punch, right? When your best friend is like deuces. And that's how, that's what kind of prompted the creation of that book. And I didn't write it to win an award, but it won awards because simply it did what it was supposed to do. So back to your initial question.
So hold on.
And it's always work. Mental health, it's not you're there and you stay there.
Gotcha.
There's no there. There's always work to be done, whether it's conversation, whether it's journaling, whether it's meditation. But the consistency of the work is what makes your mental health pretty resilient. Okay,
let me ask you, because you said something, and I've been a big advocate of this because people always say don't question God. But I'm one of them people because I question him, but he always answers. So how do you feel about that?
So my thing is you have to do what works spiritually for you, right? My question for me on a regular basis is, what did I learn today?
Okay.
What did I learn from this experience? So let's say I go through something, I experience the thing, whatever the thing is, whether it's at the gym, working out. Maybe I can't hit that set as many times as I want to. Mm-hmm. My question is not, well, God, why? It's, what did I learn from that? Maybe I need to get stronger. Maybe I need to do a lighter weight with more reps. Maybe I need to do whatever the thing is. Maybe I need to eat differently. Maybe I need to do more protein, less carbs, whatever the thing is. But the question is, what did I learn from that experience? And I think we got to get it into a better space of that. If questioning God is your way of connecting, who am I to tell you that that's the wrong way?
Gotcha.
But for me, my prayer has always been, use me. God, use me. What do I need to do today? What is the thing that I need to be used by? And I got that from Oprah, right? What does Oprah really need in life? Nothing.
Gotcha.
And while I'm certainly not as wealthy as Oprah is,
not yet.
But I admire her because her thing is, I learned so much in watching her show in the past and when I was on TV. But Use Me was such a powerful space because my understanding and belief in God is that quite often I think we think of God as this magical, mystical being that descends down on clouds and sends these magical, mystical things, when in fact, when you look at the Bible, when you listen to people and the work that they've done, what I constantly see and hear is God using other people to get the work done.
Yeah.
So it's an honor to be used, right? No, usually it's not. Now there's been, we've seen the story of the burning bush and other magical, mystical things that have happened. But primarily, it's just the simplest people or things. Remember the story of Balaam and the ass? Remember the donkey? The ass was they were going down the road.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Balaam was on it, and then he was like, go, he beating the donkey. You go, donkey. Not seeing that the donkey is looking beyond the sight, and had he gone down the road, head would have been severed.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's no sometimes. Every time it's an honor to be used, right? And so I'm available as that vessel. And so in this stage, like, I don't want to pigeonhole myself. Like it may look like I'm doing a lot of random different things, but to me, it's linear. It's all for me about communications.
Gotcha. Communicating effectively.
But whether it's me being on stage, on TV, on the dais of the council, testifying in front of Congress, being the marketing director for a major corporation, lecturing, all of those things, I'm a storyteller.
Pause. Marketing director, throw that in there too. Go ahead.
But I'm a storyteller.
I'm just gonna give y'all it's a lot. I'm telling you, it's a lot of stuff that this brother does. Like because when I first met him, it was just, I'm thinking this is just a regular professor at Edward Waters, not knowing. I didn't even know the whole resume, but you invited me to something at the not the Florida Theater. What's the other one?
The Ritz.
The Ritz.
The Ritz.
And come to find out, you've been hosting it. Not only did you've been hosting it, they also, I think they extended your contract the night I went. Yeah. They said we want you back for whatever the other season. Yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Don't trip. Every time I cut, it's something new that I learned. So now let's get to it.
Yes.
Why run for councilman? So when you got all this stuff where most people are like, you doing good in life.
It was, and arguably,
why put that pressure on you? Because now you're
all eyeballs,
right? And plus, you're in a field where most people feel is the most corrupt field in America. Why put yourself in that position?
Success for me is peace. Success is peace.
Okay.
When people say, "Are you successful?" Yes, I am successful. Not because of something I have or where I live, but success is peace. Because I feel that the peace is there, I have a responsibility being in this space, meaning being on earth, being here to give back, right? To do more. I jokingly say that when I left to go teach my classes one morning, by the time I got home, my house had been magically moved from one council district into another. This was not the plan.
Gotcha.
But if you've ever heard of that old saying, and it's so true, you want to hear God laugh?
Totally a plan.
Make plans.
All because your house was in one district.
Yeah. Got
moved to another district.
Yes.
It's like nothing big like, oh, I want to change this, I want to change that. All because of your house.
A judge, but here, get this though, everything happens for a reason. Because there was redistricting going on and a judge was trying to, the city of Jacksonville, the current council at that time was trying to create what districts look like. A judge said, hey, this is not fair. The way the districts are configured now is just not a fair makeup. And they went back to the drawing board, sent this back to the judge. The judge is like, no, it's still not fair. Do it right. And the judge said, you know what? Never mind. And the judge drew the lines. The judge drew those lines. So it came back and everybody's like, wait a minute. This is a new district. And for me, I looked at it. It was not, I do not represent, it's not a black district.
No.
Not a heavily Democrat district.
Because you out there.
Yeah, it's not, but I am a black Democrat. And I won resoundingly from this district of people that don't look like me, which was, it's the first time an African American has ever represented this district in the history of the city.
And let's not forget, for those who don't know, how many years you been doing this?
One.
First time running. Off bat. One.
Well, let me tell you, this is the first time running for city council. I will tell you, in 1998, in full disclosure, I ran for the Duval Soil and Water Conservation District as commissioner and won, which made me the youngest elected official in the state of Florida. And no one has broken that record yet.
That part too. That part of the resume. Go ahead.
Well, the youngest elected in the state. So I went around doing the work of the people then. I had left television. I graduated. I ran while I was still in college.
So wait a minute, what time?
I ran in 98. I graduated in 2000.
Okay.
From Edward Waters.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, how you ran for something you all the way in Jackson?
No, I was in college. I was at Edward Waters, undergrad. This is grad school. That's grad school. Yeah, so I double majored. Edward Waters, I did mass communications. It's not communications, but mass communications and political science.
Okay.
My master's was at Seton Hall University in Jersey, where that's strategic communications and global leadership. And then Jackson State, PhD is in urban higher education. Yeah. I'm just representing Jackson State today, but I also represent Seton Hall Pirates because they had that basketball team back in the 90s.
I'd rather you be at Seton Hall than Jackson.
Come on now. Let me tell you.
But I get it.
And I can tell you some rambling stories now. Remember, what is that restaurant? Okay, right before you go across the railroad track. Because you know how to spend some time back up in the woods, back up over there at Grambling.
I mean, it depends on...
What's the one that's like a greasy chicken restaurant? They give you the chicken in the paper bag. It'd be greasy. I could call my homeboy right now. Or you say the name, I remember it.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's so... What years you was out there?
This would have been late. This would have been like... When was I working for Wingstop? This would have been around 2000, somewhere between 2006 and 2012. Somewhere between there.
Dang, so I got the Graham in 2007.
And I started work. Well, wait a minute. No. Wait. Because when I came to Grambling, because Santori, remember Santoria?
Yeah.
Santori Black was the sports information director.
Yeah.
That's where I met Santori. So I was the international marketing director for Wingstop. We cut a deal with Grambling to be the official Wings of the Bayou Classic. Right? Yeah. So this would have been maybe 10.
I'm going to cut you off because, I'm meeting people. And the crazy part about I'm meeting people and they start talking. It's like we done cross paths before.
Had to be.
Never. It's like,
but you're a student, and I was like, I would never have seen you at Grambling. Although I did try to make sure that students were, because at the time I wasn't a professor, but I wanted to make sure that students were taken care of in the agreement. It's just a small. So you played in the Bayou Classic?
No, I didn't. I was a student. I didn't play football.
Okay.
I tried out. Me and the coaches didn't get along. One of the coaches. I say all of them.
Okay.
And we had a fallout. So after that, I told my mom I'm just going to graduate. Because I was going to transfer to another school. But
it's because I hung out with, and then of course, I'm a noob. So I would go to Grambling and ULM. ULM had a good Kappa chapter there too.
Like the fraternity life, I don't know about.
But you know ULM.
But I-20. But any schools on I-20, we all knew each other.
Yeah.
Except for going toward Texas, we didn't really rock with them like that. But between Louisiana and Mississippi, Jackson State, not Tougaloo. What is it?
But Tougaloo too. But
no. What's the one in Jackson?
Right across the street.
Is it Tougaloo?
It's Tougaloo.
Oh, it's Tougaloo. I'm thinking about Talladega.
Talladega's in Alabama.
So
Tougaloo is right across the street.
So Jackson,
on the other side of the other railroad track.
Jackson, Tougaloo, ULM, Tech, Ground.
And what's the other school in Itabena?
Mississippi Valley.
We didn't
go that far.
Y'all didn't go that far. Okay.
No. So, but it's just like. Hearing you talk, it's like, man, we don't cross paths. Because when you say greasy chicken, I'm thinking about Chickadilly or, oh my God, I can't even think of it.
It's before you know.
Southern Classic.
Southern Classic. That's it. Southern Classic. Southern Classic. It's before you go across the railroad track.
It's two of them.
The one I remember where they took me to, one of my homeboys took me there. He was like, you got to go check. And granted, I was working for Wingstop. So, but. We remember those Wingstops we were put on the ground. Remember when you could use your student meal plan to eat at Wingstop?
No, I didn't. Well, I didn't have at the time. I didn't have a meal plan.
The way I connected it, the Tiger Dollars or whatever the student was, Tiger Bucks, I connected it where not only could you use your Tiger Bucks at Wingstop, but you got a discount to do it.
Man, let me stop talking about it because we were talking about HBCUs.
Yes. And of course, Grambling was one. Now, if I had to choose Grambling and Southern, while I do love Southern, I was a big Grambling fan. However, there is nothing like the Sonic Boom of the South.
Okay,
so I love JSU, baby.
I'm gonna let you slip that in. I'm gonna let you slip that in. Okay, so man, we can talk about this.
Yes. But if you're gonna edit it, it's gonna be fine.
No. I just want to. It's just like when you, once again, it's like a young lady I met. She started talking. I'm like, she actually graduated from Reebok 06.
Okay.
But I never knew her. But she started talking about the people. I'm like, we crossed paths before, but it literally took us 18 years to. But it was just like you
6 degrees of separation, and it's not even 6, honestly. It's really less than that. But yeah,
like just the fact that you know all that, and then you say 7 with Wings. I was like, yeah, we crossed paths before. It's just that we didn't know each other. It took literally you going to Jackson, me going to Grambling to come back
to meet where we from, and went to the same high school. Yeah.
And work at EWC. It's crazy to me. Like that amazes me to sit back just to have that imagination. Like I could have met this person out there.
But we are where we're supposed to be. Because the AJ that was out there is not the AJ that's here now.
True.
Right? The Rockman.
I had fun.
The Rockman that you see now.
I have fun.
Ain't the Rockman that was there.
I had fun. Okay.
It's Grambling.
Woo! All right, so let's get to it.
So when you ask me why run for office, why? Because it was a necessity. Sometimes the things when they're revealed to you, you have to look at them and see what's there. I saw an opportunity. I live in a city that I absolutely adore.
Mm-hmm.
I came back home to stay because of my mother being ill and passing on. Before she passed on, I did not plan to stay. I've always had a home here, but what made me want to stay is the promise of what we could do. But the thing is, quite often we get to a space where there's promise and we don't do anything about it. You got to have somebody who is innovative enough to say, you know what? We've never done it that way before, but let's try it.
Promise. Because you hear, now we get into, running for president, the election, all this going on. Black people have been promised so much.
Yes.
But never got it. As a person in politics, what are you seeing that where it's like, where can a change be made?
Individually, individualistically, incrementally. I think it is important that we are looking. Here's the thing. I heard so much talk about Barack Obama when he was president,
right,
about him not doing enough for Black people. Barack Obama was not the president for Black America. Barack Obama was the president of the United States of America, who just happened to be a man of color, a Black man, who had true African American ancestry. I don't want him just to do for Black people. I am certainly a Black person, but I believe in the promise of this country because I've traveled abroad extensively and I've seen other countries and the lack thereof. So this experiment in democracy that is here is wonderful and amazing and flawed, which is why we have to consistently work at it.
So I'm going to push back. Because you see everything going on. I think LGBTQ got rights under him. Right now, we're trying to get I think it's the George Floyd Act. When you say you don't want him to do it, but Black people, like, we voted you in to do something for us.
Everybody voted him in. Black people alone did not vote in Barack Obama. Black people alone did not vote me in. White people alone did not vote me in. Government is neither Black or white. Government is for the people altogether. I didn't say that they shouldn't do something for those people, but just not only for those people. And unfortunately, many people in the African American community feel, well, he needs to do this for us because he's one of us. And you have to look at things on the macro level and not the micro level. Look outside of yourselves. I can't just look at District 14 and say, I'm going to only do it for the people that look like me in the district.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm looking out for the goods of the district, for what is going to be best for us to move the district forward. And I think the president did the same thing. You're talking about LGBTQ rights, but you're saying under him, but understanding government, same-sex marriage didn't pass because Barack Obama did something. It was the Supreme Court, which is the same reason right now we're in a Supreme Court where Roe versus Wade has been overturned, because we had a president who came in and said, my goal, my job is to ensure that this thing disappears. And now we are losing the right for women to control their bodies across the country. So look at the Supreme Court.
No.
Even the educational decisions we're dealing with here in this state.
I want, because I'm in the barbershop and I'm just hearing, I was about to say the N-word. I don't want to say it in front of, but I'm hearing N-words talk. And it's just like this and that, this and that. Oh, this don't mean that. Why should I care about Supreme Court? Supreme Court ain't doing this and this and that. Like I'm more the not even, they ain't even talking local politics. They just talking about politics in general. It's like, do you realize what's all is going on?
Well, it's up to us though. I was this great saying I've heard about, beware of the knowledge of groups. So often we have groups and it feels good. One of the reasons why people are members, not me specifically, but I do enjoy the brotherhood I've experienced as a member of a fraternity. But sometimes people talk about fraternities and sororities as something negative. For me, it's like I said, I'm an only child, so it's been a really positive experience for me. But this is where it gets interesting. A lot of us like to have the connection of the group, whether it be church or school or a class, like colleges, like, right, you're like, hey, I'm JSU, I'm Grambling. We like that group because it gives us a sense of belonging. Mm-hmm. So when we sit in the barbershop and somebody says, yeah, I don't like politics. Yeah, me neither. I don't like politics. Not you, just because you're part of the group. You're not understanding that everything you do in your life is determined by politics. That barbershop you're sitting in, politics determine that, right? I am not a politician. It's not my title. I'm a public servant. I'm an elected official, not a politician. I'm not sitting in the back room making deals. What I am doing is pushing things forward for people. But the barbershop that you sit in had to be zoned so there could be a barbershop. That happens on the city council level. That barber that's cutting your hair had to be licensed by the state to make sure that that person wasn't passing along diseases. That is licensed by the state. So we can go all down the road for you to say, well, I don't do politics. I don't like politics. Yes, you do. You got a tag on your car. You got your driver's license. Yeah. The things that are about your driver's license or the tag that is on your car, all determined by the legislature, which is indeed people making deals politically to ensure that someone's needs gets met. Okay. Right? So it's up to us, to those people who are at the barbershop, who are at the tire shop, who you and I to everybody that's watching this, I want you to know this election that's coming up shortly is, and I know everybody says it's cliche, but it is one of the most important elections of our lifetime. But it's one of the most important of our lifetime. So make a plan. I got to say this. Make a plan to vote. Pick up the phone and call somebody and say, I need you to be able to go to the poll. I need you to do this, that, like, make sure you know where your polling place is. Check to make sure that your elections are, or that your voter registration is up to speed. Because here in Florida, they're dumping people off the voter rolls. Yeah. This is an important election. And we'll get to why I think it's important, because I know there's some issues about who's at the top of the ticket, especially for the party I support. But I'll tell you, this we can see, based on the Supreme Court and other things, we can see just how detrimental it is if we don't vote.
Summertime in the calf, man. We're here with Councilman Johnson, man. We finna. I hope the people that's watching this will understand, especially, and I want to get to this, black men.
Yes.
Like, because it seems like with both candidates, and I watch Fox News, CNN, MSSB, it seems like black men, they're keying around because they're either hoping that black men show up and vote or black men stay on the couch. So what do me and you, because I'm going to vote. My grandma, she instilled it in me. my first election was Barack Obama. So, and I remember, and I'm going to say it because I remember when he won, my grandma called me crying. Like, I still got the newspaper of him winning the election. So what as black men, because it seemed like that's the key everybody focus on, what do black men need to do to just even have the balls just to get them to go vote for somebody?
Educate themselves. It starts with reading. We have never had as much access to information as we have. This is a supercomputer, right? Use it. Don't look at it and say, oh, I heard somebody's debate performance was poor. And you have now decided that I'm not going to vote. I don't like either one of them. Because if you don't vote, it's like you're voting for the thing that you don't want to happen. So now your voice is being taken away. You have a powerful opportunity to use your voice. So number one is we need to inform ourselves and educate ourselves. Like I said earlier, though, the other thing is making a plan to push others forward, right? Knowing your status when it comes to voting. Is my voter registration up to par? Do I need to re-register? All of those questions. And then the second part of that is making a plan, making that plan to vote, but also urging others to vote. Picking up the phone saying, you know what, I'm going to make it my business to call 5 people and say, did you vote today? And part of that is the same thing with registration. Picking up the phone, calling 5 people and saying, are you registered? Have you checked your voter registration? It's that simple. If we take remember I said earlier, it's about those individualistic tasks, right? A lot of us look at things as these grand spaces and think that it's about everything on the national level, but sometimes it's just asking the man next door, did he vote? And look at me, man. I live in an area, my next door neighbor absolutely adores Donald Trump. My neighbor did not take, when Donald Trump lost the election last time, he didn't take his Trump sign down for about 7 months after the election. And then he's had his Trump flag up now for about a year, right? Trump 2024. But the cool thing is, he says, I've never voted for a Democrat before, but I like you. And when I ran for office, my sign was in his yard. Because I didn't look at the sign before, or I don't talk to you, or you don't like that. You're still my neighbor. And obviously it's your choice.
Right.
I don't choose that. And I have myriad reasons why Donald Trump is a poor choice for president of the United States. And I can share it with you as I've shared, and I don't mind, and I don't back away from the discussion.
No, we're gonna get to it.
But I think some people do that, right?
Yeah, it's like they scared to
have that conversation.
Like, I'm as a person I'm not fully in it, but I got invested in it. Literally when he won, I was like, how did this bastard win? And then I just start watching a little bit, Roland Martin, start paying attention to D.L. Hughley, CNN, Fox News. I just started watching them like, what is going on where literally a guy who was on Apprentice is in the White House? And this is literally everything that happened before 2020.
And I gotta say though, it is the temperament of the person, not just because they're on The Apprentice. I was on Nickelodeon. Why am I on the city council? Literally, you saw me freestyle rapping on Nickelodeon. How did I get to that
video? We're gonna play that video.
And I didn't even know it was around. Somebody else was like, "Hey, man,
we're gonna play that video."
So here's the thing, though: how does it happen, right? How do we get to the spot where you go from that to this? Look, the president of the Ukraine. I want to say Sarkozy, but that's not his name. That's President of France. I can't think of his name, but
I got to say it in my face,
and I know it. And I'll say it. But the president of Ukraine, literally, was a comedian on TV, and has arguably been one of Zelensky.
There you go.
Yeah, Zelensky. Arguably one of the best presidents that the world has ever seen. He rose to the occasion. People thought Ukraine would be wiped off the map by now. Russia was a superpower.
I did.
And you see, Russia has been fighting for over a year, trying to, especially after the annexation of Crimea, you're looking at it and thinking, well, there's no way this tiny little country who has a comedian as president can stand up, and they have. So I'm not saying just because that guy was on The Apprentice that takes it away. I mean, Hill Harper right now, my friend and brother Hill Harper is running for the United States Senate out of Michigan.
Okay.
I can go down the list. Other people who have been
no. So Hill Harper, once again, I'm just outside looking in.
Sure.
I trust that brother. If you would have put Zelensky, I might not know his demeanor, but his temperament, I can trust that. I've seen this man temperament before, and somehow
But you saw him as president. You saw him even before he was president, when he was head of the Trump Corporation in New York, that you take out a full-page ad decrying black people in New York.
And before that, even
policies in where you wouldn't rent your apartments to black people in New York.
And before the grab one by the poop, it's literally out there. If y'all go look on YouTube, it's a statement where Donald Trump divorced his wife, and they asked him, "Why you divorced his wife?" Because he said, "I don't like to date women who have children." And the lady literally in the interview said, "But that's
your child." I know.
He said, "I don't care." And he divorced his wife. So when you say Hill Harper, I'm not getting nervous. But
but there's some people who are going to get nervous. There's some people who are saying, "But Hill Harper's never done this before." There's some people who are saying, "Here's a single black man with a child. Where's his wife?" I literally heard this, and I'm like, so here's this black man who is a multimillionaire, who is a really talented actor, who has a JD,
and
he's a lawyer. He's a lawyer, Harvard-educated lawyer, has been a philanthropist, doing the work, is an amazing actor, decides, you know what, I want to raise a kid, has a baby, and the best you can do instead of saying, wow, and now this guy's ready to give of his time and his life to help this country, the most you can say is, well, where's his wife? Or what is he about?
Or you know, they would really want to say he's gay.
But does that matter? Because unless you're doing gay acts on the Senate floor, that's not my business. I don't care.
But you know they,
and that's such the problem in this country. We get to the point where we're trying to legislate morality. I really don't. What people do in their homes, as long as it does not offend or hurt someone else, is not my business, and it's not your business.
Speaking of business, let's get back to the abortion.
Sure.
Now, because I've been telling me and my friends been having a discussion. Because one, let me start off by saying this: I am against abortion, but this is my reasons. One, I think if a woman has a child, if she wants to give it up, she should be able to give it, because you have a lot of women who can't have kids, give the baby up and give up all rights, all that. So if the baby turned 18 and wants to know who his biological mother is, they can do it, but not her. Two, if it's going to kill the woman, by all means, have the abortion. Because I just feel like if that baby is had, whoever the people taking care of, especially a mother, she can be like, let's just say that baby do something stupid. First what's going to come out, my baby gave her life so she can have you. So, and three, I think if it's going to get, what was my third? First, boom, boom, boom. And the third reason, I'm getting short-headed, but it should be money if a woman has the baby and give it up. Now, but once again, I keep going back. If it's going to hurt the mother, all means have the abortion, because that life is more important than that baby there. But I do feel like if you can have the baby, it's so many women here who cannot have newly born babies. I feel like you should do that. I know. I get a lot of heat, but
no, I'm not. I don't disagree that you should have your opinion. I don't agree with you,
cool. But
I just think that it's not. You should not get to decide what a woman does with her body.
I don't want her to decide either. That's what you're. No. The third reason. I'm glad you said that. Not decide. So let's just say this woman, she don't want the baby. That's her right. If she say I don't want to have it, I want to have it. But let's say she do have it, but she don't want to take care of it. I'm with that.
You can do that.
Give the baby
but
up.
that has nothing to do with the right, the freedom to choose.
No, I don't want to. No. I'm speaking fast. I hear what you're saying. I just want to make sure clear on record. I don't want to say no. You gotta have that baby.
Yeah, because that's what the Supreme Court just did.
Right. I don't want to be like, no, you gotta have that baby. I want to be the fact that, like, okay, if you have that baby and you give it up, you have no rights to that baby.
And that's fine.
So,
but that's not what the Supreme Court did.
No, they
and one thing you're forgetting in what you said is a prohibition to me for making someone keep the baby, rape or incest.
That part. Now
you
that
really are forcing a person to carry around a child that they were impregnated through.
And I think they don't understand it. I told this one dude in Boston, I said, hey man, check this out. Your daughter, who's 13, if she gets raped, she has to have that baby.
Or her uncle touches her inappropriately.
And she has to have that baby. And here's the thing. If it kills her, they don't care. That baby got to come out. They're going to take that baby life over your child.
Let's get even deeper than that. There's a disease, you can look it up, called Tay-Sachs disease. Okay, Tay-Sachs disease is a very debilitating disease. There's been no one that has survived over age 5 because of Tay-Sachs disease. You can diagnose a child, it's hereditary, so you can diagnose a child in the utero about Tay-Sachs to see if it's spelled Taysachs, Tay-Sachs disease. You can diagnose in utero if the child is going to have Tay-Sachs disease. But once you find out, it's highly recommended that you terminate the pregnancy. And you may say, well, wait a minute, it's just a disease, we can work with it. Again, no child has lived over 5 years old since the diagnosis and understanding of this disease. It is a debilitating death. The kid goes blind, deaf, begins to bleed out, the internal organs shut down. It is a horrible, tragic way to go. Based on the way that the laws are being written, or that they're written right now, and with the new interpretation of the Supreme Court, you would not be able to end that pregnancy, knowing you now have an attachment to a human that has a definite end date, that will die a horrible death. So psychologically, not only are you putting your body through having this child, but you're also putting your body through the strain of emotionally connecting with the child that you have to watch suffer to die, when you could have terminated the pregnancy and prevented all of that from going on. That's just one instance. What people don't understand, you're saying, oh, abortion should be bad. What about those people who are having to harvest their eggs so that they can't have a child because they can't do it naturally? So now we have the technology so the eggs can be harvested. But when you are dealing with the harvesting of the eggs in that process, it then violates, especially in Alabama, it then violates parts of the law.
And that's what.
So now you got people who are in the midst of their procedure and they can't do it because the laws changed.
Didn't Ebony K. Williams, did she do something like that?
I don't know.
Oh.
But if you can have a baby and you can use technology and your body may not, back in the day, you were just known as a barren woman. You just couldn't have a baby. Now technology is changing, can allow you to have a kid. But now we're saying with the laws, basically you're telling it's the handmaid's tale. This is how you should have a baby. This is how you should look. This is what you should do. And with all due respect, I'm not telling you what to do with your genitalia.
Well, we all know it's men making laws, and
there you go.
And then if you go through the history, for people who don't know, back in the day when a man married a woman, that woman could have a whole bunch of land and millionaires. As soon as she married, it's his. And it's just, I don't think people really know the history. But let me ask you this question.
Sure.
Dealing with Republican women, do you even think they even care? Or they just going to vote because they're Republican?
Based on what I've seen in the numbers, I think many are looking at the other ideals of the Republican Party. But I recently looked at the platform that was released by the party nominee, and things have changed in that platform. It's not as robust as it has been. They don't talk about the financial security of the country and other things. So do I think,
like, as a woman, what just happened?
Well, and women who voted for Donald Trump initially the first time.
And I'm just saying, as a woman, I'm MAGA. But if I vote for this, I might get, because they do this, the scenario game. That might happen to me, and I'm gonna be forced. It's just
therein lies the question. I don't think we can answer that. I mean, because do you really want to go back to a pre-Roe versus Wade time, where we've all heard the stories? You and I weren't living then, but we all heard the stories about women who were using coat hangers, who were throwing themselves downstairs, who were drinking bleach, all kind of stuff. Yeah, to terminate their pregnancies. Do we really want to go back to that? Because it will happen. You can't stop someone you can't make someone have a baby. The question is, one of the reasons why the procedure came about is so that you could humanely do it and that it would protect everybody's life, especially when it comes to something that affects the life of the mother.
Summertime in the calf, man. We got Councilman Henry Johnson here talking about it. All things politics. All right. Again, we talked about abortion, talked about black men. Let's just get down to
the presidential election. I knew it was coming.
Yeah. Now, this is just me speaking.
Sure.
This is me speaking. The debate. I really didn't care. I really didn't care about the debate.
Yeah.
And the way people was talking. Like, if you could, when Biden won that year, in my head I said, I hope that somebody in the Democrat Party go in there and sit with him and say, hey, you've been trying to be president for 3 years. You got it. We're giving you 4. We're really getting ready for this black woman behind you, because to me, she is the key to the not even just the Democrats, just the country can get stable, not for 4, not for 8, but 16 years. That's how I looked at it. So now that we here, I'm trying to tell people, don't look at Joe Biden. Look at the person behind him. Because that lady right there, she's going to be the first, not black. She's going to be the first female president if we vote him in. So I'm telling people, don't look at Biden. Look past him. Because if I had to sit with President Joe Biden right now, I would tell him, I'm going to vote for you. Not for you, but because of her. So where can we get people?
Well, I have to say, I mean, the man has, not all of his decisions over the last 50 years have been amazing and perfect, but he's a great public servant. And I'm voting for Joe Biden because of him, not because of her. I like her. I know her well. I got photos. I've hung out with her. I think she's an amazing human.
Okay.
But I'm voting for Joe Biden because Joe Biden has done the work over the last 3.5 years. He showed us what it means to be a statesman, a statesperson, right? He's traveled the world when we had a president that went around the world trying to destroy America's reputation, pulling out of organizations and treaties like climate accords. Joe Biden has done the work. The man led foreign policy on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee for years. He's been at the helm for so long. He has done a good job these past 3 years. So while I think it's important, and we can talk about the debate performance and what he's done, I firmly believe that the reason I'm voting for Joe Biden is not for Kamala Harris, it's not for the Democratic Party, it's not for anything specifically, except for the fact that in this race, Joe Biden is the best person to be the president of the United States.
No, I mean, well, this part I know we're going to disagree, but that's just, I seen the stuff that he's done, low black employment, he created all these jobs. I think he brought was it NATO?
Yeah.
He brought everybody back together with NATO, where some countries who was looking to start some can't now because everything back together. I get it, but I just me talking, not Councilman Johnson. This is AJ Davenport, Florida, host of the Cal Podcast, speaking. I'm tired of seeing old white men.
That's good, but at this point, that's nice, right? And we want to diversify. Look, I'm in a seat that's never been held by a black person, but you got to have somebody there to do it, and there's a process with which to do it, and that process.
Don't get me wrong, he's better than the other guy.
And the process right now, regardless of whether you're tired of seeing old white men or not, the process is we have a way to do this. Nobody stepped up to the plate to do it. So instead of romanticizing what we don't have, we've got to focus on ensuring that we support what we do have. I mean, I look at somebody like a Deval Patrick. I was hoping.
Who is it?
He's the former governor of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Deval is an amazing dude. I was hoping that he would run for president. Black man, governor, elected.
Okay, let me pause you there.
Sure.
Why look past the VP?
Because right now the VP is running as a running mate to the president.
No, I'm saying like, why you say she's running as a running mate?
No, I mean in the past, like we had an opportunity for primaries, right?
Okay, got you.
But I can't sit here and romanticize. You're talking about why not the VP? No, we have a nominee for the party. That nominee is Joe Biden. I am a delegate. I am a delegate to the Democratic National Convention. Right? You didn't know that. I am literally going to Chicago to cast my vote for the president of the United States, to represent the Democratic Party as our nominee. Right? Nothing has changed. Trust me, I've gotten calls and people are like, hey, as a delegate, are you still going? Yes, I will be there and I will be voting for Joe Biden as the nominee. Right? And I believe, just like Vice President Harris, just like my frat brother and the House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, all of that, we are in lockstep behind the man that we believe that will put the right people in place, that has the right people around him, and that will be the change that we need moving forward. So Joe Biden is it, and I don't think we need to spend time looking at, well, what if?
No, I'm totally with it. Like everybody keep talking about, no, keep him there. But me, once again, I'm speaking. If I'm just telling him like, yo, Joe, we gonna get you another 4, but
we see that she's there. So our focus has singularly got to be, because when we start splitting our focus and saying, well, but in 8 we gonna get to her and here, people ask me all the time, AJ, well, Rock, what's your next move? What you want for next?
I was about to ask that too, but we'll save it later.
No, I'm not. I don't have plans for that. I want to do the best job I can right now. I'm under no impression that in 3 years, when it's time for re-election, if God says and I run for re-election, I'm not under the impression that I must come back, that it's a mandate. I know the area that I live in. My job has got to be doing the best that I can right now. I ask myself every time, what's the next right move?
And the reason why I'm saying this, let's go back to 16.
Sure.
Obama, we know he's moving out. I say if Joe Biden runs, I don't even think we even get to this point. And that's why I'm looking at. That's why I'm
What
looking.
do you mean you don't think we get to this point?
Trump don't become president.
Okay.
If Joe Biden runs, but he said he didn't have enough time to get on the campaign, and I'm like, who cares? Just step up to the plate.
Okay.
I think he would have. If you go, Rollamar said something on his show, and when he said, like, I couldn't believe it. But once again, in that barbershop, I heard a lot. Black men didn't vote for Hillary because they didn't want a female president.
That's absolutely right.
Black men voted for Trump. So in my head, I'm like, first of all, 2 things. White women, y'all dropped the ball because y'all could have had the
first female president. And can I say this? So, and I love President Obama. I think he was an amazing president. And of course, when he was vice president, so was Vice President Biden. I was a supporter and a surrogate for former Senator Clinton on the road, and former Secretary of State Clinton. I got on the road.
I know you in this politics because you giving people the names. I just be calling them by the first name and the last name. But you really in this thing.
But I was on the road for the senator. Right?
Senator Clinton, all that.
Yes. Gotcha. I was and secretary, I should say, because her highest ranking office is secretary. So as Secretary Clinton came, I was all behind her. I will say, and I will not change this because I believe this. I was with her until she bowed out, until she said, I'm done. And when she did, I went to President Obama and I stayed with him. Gotcha. And so many people were hitting me like, how could you do this? He's a black man and you trading whatever. He didn't get in the race until late. And I'm really, really just focused on my word. If I give you my word, I'm going to do it. Maybe a little late, but if I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Gotcha. I told her I was with her, and I was with her. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to Hillary Clinton, and I still stand by this statement, she was the most qualified person to ever run for the United States presidency in the history of the United States. Who else is more qualified than Hillary Clinton?
You gotta break that.
I'll wait.
No,
I'll wait.
I'm just credential-wise, I don't know. Once again, I'm late to the politics.
No one.
I didn't get into 16.
Even as a man or woman, there has never been anybody more qualified than Hillary Clinton to run for president of the United States.
If you would have told me.
The woman has a law degree. She was a practicing lawyer, went door to door arguing for children's rights. She was the first lady of both the state of Arkansas and the United States. Mm-hmm. She served as both the Secretary of State and a ranking senator in the United States Senate. She chaired healthcare, didn't get through. Remember back in 1990, 3-4, when Bill Clinton had proposed healthcare? She led that charge for healthcare in the United States. She had other initiatives that she put in the White House. She had a portfolio of experience that prepared her to be the president of the United States more than anybody else had in this country. But the one thing that stood against her, she was a woman.
And that's why I was like,
that is unacceptable. That's something that your daughter, my daughter, women out here, that sends the wrong message.
Yeah, because that's when he said that about black men voted for Trump because they didn't want a woman president. I was like, no, they didn't. It was just, got in that barbershop. Yeah, I voted for Trump. I just can see, I didn't want no woman to be my president. And I'm like, so y'all really picked this bitch over, excuse my language, y'all really picked him over Hillary Clinton?
I've heard men say, I was on the road for him.
I'm talking about black men. I don't know what the white man was talking about.
I heard it.
I'm talking about black men.
I have heard people say, what if she was on her period and hit the nuclear button? And I'm saying, there's so many checks and balances. If you understand government, that it doesn't happen that way. But that's the mentality of this toxically masculine society that we're in. We are so focused on trying to protect our manhood that we're not being men.
So that's why I say, look at your VP to keep this thing going, because what Obama started, he came in, demolished it. Then people talk about Joe Biden, like, hey, I do know he's trying to erase and clean up the mess that was already him. So he really, maybe I take that back, because he did a lot.
And Biden couldn't have, you got to realize too, we're taking out of the effect that, some people say, well, why didn't he run right after
and that's
right after Obama, right? And I think, number one, Hillary was ready. It was her time. But Joe Biden was sad. The man had just buried his son who died of brain cancer. He watched his son. Do you know Joe Biden's story?
Yeah.
About his wife?
His wife passed away.
His first wife. He was widowed.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think...
Not just passed away, she was killed in a car accident. His daughter was in the car with her. So the daughter and the wife died in a car accident while he was trying to go be a senator, right? He gets the call. He runs back. His two sons, Hunter and Bo, were also in the car. They just didn't die. So here's this single man who is starting his life out, and his wife's dead. The woman he thought he was going to spend his life with. And his daughter is dead. Thanks be to God, he finds another wife, a woman that loves him, who respects his former wife, respects his son. She takes in Hunter and Bo as their own, right? Mm-hmm. They go and serve, do all the things they do. Bo goes and does work in the military or whatever, becomes Attorney General of Delaware, and then develops brain cancer. So the tragedy of the remembrance of having to bury your wife and daughter at the same time is all revisited when you're now having to bury your son, who has grown up to exceed your wildest dreams, to not only be an attorney following in your footsteps, but to become the Attorney General of the state that you're from. And now he's dying. And it's a glioblastoma, and there's nothing you can do. And you're talking to him about running for president? My child, I've had to put my child in the ground. I've never buried a child. I don't know what that's like, but I can only imagine. I know what it's like to bury a parent, and I know how hard that was for me. So I could not imagine burying a child. So for him to go through all of that and get to this point, no, of course he didn't run at that time. It just wasn't there. He was retired. But when he saw the country's direction because of the man that was in the Oval Office, he knew not only do I have the experience, but I also have a responsibility to step up. I don't care how old I am. I don't care whether I'm retired. It's not about me.
Well, I'm just a person looking on the outside in. I just know I'm looking at the ripple effect. What if he would have stepped in? You say Hillary had all the credentials. Kudos, but just the fact that maybe if he's on the ticket versus him, we don't even go through. We probably went through a pandemic, but probably not that bad.
Well, I disagree with that, and I'll tell you why. If we look back in history, every 100 years is usually a major pandemic.
But once again, going back to the person, we would have somebody competent to tell people, hey, put the mask on and stay inside. Don't look at the sun. Don't drink bleach. Can y'all please just stay inside for 3 months? We just need 3 months of y'all to stay inside. Hey, look, we're going to get y'all these $1,400 checks. We're going to make sure, hey, the phone companies don't try to charge.
I think it like was
just 3 months. Just can y'all be kind?
But I'm not going to sit the whole blame there. I think we are also, I look at Dr. Fauci and the what he did. I mean, he was giving us great information, but right, you did have somebody on the higher level saying stuff like drink bleach or what have you.
If you look into the sun, it can kill. The man said that, but I digress.
I think I don't think that having Joe Biden at the helm during COVID would have changed COVID, but you're right. It could have helped us to maybe save more lives because you had mandates in place, but you would have still had people that are saying, I'm not going to wear a mask. You and I know we've been places and people were fighting about wearing a mask.
Stupidest thing.
But I think as we look in this space, though, I really do think that while I've looked at the poll numbers for Vice President Harris, I just think that in the space that we're in right now, it's so important that we have a sole focus on what Joe Biden has done and what he brings to the office. But most importantly, if Joe Biden is not the president, what we would get into. Like, have you looked at Project 2025?
Have I?
Oh, my goodness.
Have I?
It's dystopian.
And the crazy part about it is what is it, 900 pages or 90 pages or something like that? I only got through some of the key stuff. And the stuff that's in there dealing with black people. What's going to happen. And you could talk about it too, even dealing with the education system. Like it's well, and let me say this too. I do think they messed up by leaking that out. Because they probably, I think they messed up. And this is why I'm going to say this.
Oh, putting 2025 out.
Yeah, because they had it in wraps.
It wasn't leaked, though. It's just they've been preparing it for years.
Well, not leaked. Putting it out, because they thought if we put it out there, people going to gravitate to it. Well, we're all gravitated, just not MAGA. All of us is gravitated to it and looking at it. And it's going to bite them in the butt.
I think it's completely dystopian. I think it moves.
Dystopian, you got to break that down. What is that word?
So a dystopian society is one of those societies that's kind of totalitarian, and it's like a society where the government controls and rules everything.
Okay.
Think of one of those futuristic movies that we've seen. This is this government-controlled Handmaid's Tale, like, and I use that as a term because that's the way it seems as though with Project 2025, everybody has to be loyal. To the White House, to the president. Like you're firing people who are career civil servants. It's so all over the place, and that's what we will experience if we don't vote. Yes, that's right.
So,
and think of January 6th. People died. This was not people. We all saw what happened on January 6th.
Please don't get me
They
started.
were like, oh, people were just walking by taking a tour. You had people breaking windows. You had people defecating on desks. I can go on. You got people who were saying, take our country back. You got a man who literally stood there and said, yes, this is what I want people. You should go and fight like hell and all these other inflammatory things. But then all of a sudden, they were just trying to use their right to democracy. They were climbing. If I go right now and began to climb up the side of the house in Washington,
Oh no, you know that
they would arrest me.
You know that front part when you walk up to it,
the stairs.
I first time in DC.
Yep.
I got close, so I'm like, I wonder if I get another picture. As I'm about to step my foot over that fence,
Guard is right there.
Excuse me, sir. Can you please back up? So
these people were climbing up the walls
just to see that.
Oh my word!
Like I know, but
people were afraid. I have friends that work in Congress, and they were afraid.
All of them was afraid.
They were afraid.
All of them was afraid.
Oh my word!
Democrats, Republicans, Independent, name it. All of them was afraid.
You literally are saying, "Hang Mike Pence, the Vice President of the United States." You have people chanting like a mob to hang the Vice President of the United States. That is not what the rule of law is about. The rule of law is about protecting everybody's right. And when you say hang Mike Pence, you are an alien, the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, the inalienable rights, you are infringing on the man's right to live simply because you want him to do something that's illegal. And that is, it's untenable.
Summertime in the calf, man. We got Councilman Johnson here. All right, now, I'm going to have to wrap it up. Not because we could talk about this all day, because to get into this type of conversation, I think more black men need to have it.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying black need to have it with Democrats. I think black men need to have it with everybody, from Republicans to independents to whoever. Yep. Just to, you might trigger something that like, wait a minute, maybe I didn't look at that, or somebody else, and it might affect. So I'm glad we're having this conversation. Absolutely. But this is the calf, and we have our questions. Now, some of the questions I had to cut out because you're a councilman. I'm not trying to have your business out there. I'm not gonna
go for it. Go for it.
I'm not gonna do that.
Go for it. All right, go for it. Let's see. You can edit it. You can edit it. Go for it.
Okay. All right. Now,
I haven't heard these questions, so I feel comfortable to tell y'all.
Yeah, you let me know. All right. Now, here's the thing. It's gonna be either or. Some are gonna be fill in the blank, but it's up to you.
Go.
First question: love or money?
Love.
Financial literacy or health literacy?
Oh, that's a big one. Health. Health is wealth.
All right. If you had to choose, you can pick 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3. You can't pick all 3.
Okay.
T-shirt and panties, lingerie, or nothing at all.
Nothing at all, duh. And t-shirt and panties.
You would be surprised how many women would pick t-shirt and panties.
Yeah, t-shirt and panties. I mean, lingerie is cool.
I like lingerie because I like to see it come off.
Yeah, but it's something about like a cutoff t-shirt. I'm sorry, I'm just having them on. It's something about a cutoff t-shirt and panties. What is the problem? I mean, I'm not saying lingerie is not a good thing.
This gonna start another argument.
But that's like she poo poo frilly, right? So I need upscale with a little sprinkle of ratchet. So the t-shirt.
Councilman Johnson, what is your love language?
I think it's it's
you got words of affirmation.
I think
quality time, physical touch, acts of serving, or receiving gifts.
Yeah, I think it's words of affirmation. I took the test, so I think it's words of affirmation followed by quality time. When my time is tight, so it's more of like, let me know you're there for me, and I think it's words of affirmation.
Okay.
Yeah. Although I do like a gift or two every now and then.
Councilman Johnson, what have you learned about yourself in the last 5 years?
That I'm resilient. That I'm resilient. It's interesting you say 5 years. So this year makes the 5th year that my mother passed away. And I thought I would either be in a mental institution somewhere just like quivering. And here I am with my terminal degree on city council. That's
that strength in that covering. But
that's resilience.
We'll talk about that.
I've learned resilience.
What is something that you're going to accomplish in 2024 or something that you already accomplished in 2024?
I am so excited. 2024 has been an amazing year. I just found out. Thank you. Can we get a round of applause for 161 pieces of legislation? Can we get a round of applause? Can we get a round of applause for 161 pieces of legislation passed? I had to, get the team to get it to be a part of it. We passed 161 pieces of legislation in 1 year. That is almost unheard of. I love that. Number 2, the Jaguars contract, which I was a major part of authoring that contract. There's a provision in there where every year, even when I'm gone, every year they will play a historically black college game at the stadium. And that's never been in any NFL contract. So that's a huge, huge get. And I got 2 books on the way. So I hope to have them done by the end of the year.
All right. Let's get a little bit of ratchet.
Oh, more ratchet than the t-shirt and panties question?
Because where would you like to have sex? Balcony or the beach?
Beach. Duh.
How long should good sex last?
Does it have to stop?
No,
that's what I'm saying. Does it have to stop? Here's the thing.
This is your answer.
So get this. Sex is not it's not mental. It's not physical. It's mental. It's mental. It all starts here. So it doesn't ever have to stop. When your partner and you have made the decision that you are together, you're thinking about whoever you're with, right? You're thinking about that person. You're thinking about her. You're thinking about them at the time that you may not be involved in a sexual act. So I think sex is more than just about penetration or oral sex or any of those things. It's about the connection, like tantric sex, right? It's about the connection of the individual. See, they don't have to be ratchet.
Everybody won. The average number we've been getting is 30 minutes. That's the average number we've been getting for people. Then the follow-up question is, how long should a quickie last?
But it's about. Here's the thing. What if the quickie is oral sex? What if it's not traditional? You see what I'm saying? So sometimes
nobody's thinking like you.
It's what are we getting with my wife and I, with her husband and him, or her girlfriend and her, whatever your little mix is, right? What works for us?
Gotcha.
And that's what's for me. So for me, the quickie could just be us kissing for a moment and holding, right? A quickie could be. You remember this scene, and I may be taken back before your time. Remember the movie Waiting to Exhale?
Oh, what scene we talking about?
There was a scene, Angela Bassett and Wesley Snipes.
Oh, yeah, at the end.
No, well, it's kind of sort of the end. Yeah, it's getting close to the end.
No, it was literally, it was at the end. Go ahead, I'm going to let you.
But remember, they were in the bed. They got in the bed together, did nothing.
And he said that was the best moment.
Best moment. Do you see where I'm going? So he met her at the bar. His wife was dying of cancer. He didn't want to cheat on his wife, but he needed
physical touch. And all they did was just hold each other. And that was the best thing ever.
Was that not amazing? And so
I've been looking for that scene on YouTube so I could show it because somebody don't believe me.
I taught it with a class. I use that scene for a class because sometimes not one piece of clothing came off. Not one bodily fluid was exchanged.
Nothing.
They had an expensive hotel suite, right? But the intimacy of them being in the same space at the same time and sharing that moment was life-changing for both of them. Now, granted, that's a movie, right? And Terry McMillan did a wonderful job in writing it. But I think that we can use that, art imitates life. So sometimes for me, what I understand is just about being in the space. It's not about doing anything. It's just being there. Sometimes people need to. One of the poems in my book is talks about the need to be needed. People just want to know that they matter. That's why I think words of affirmation are so important. Obviously, physical touch is hella important, and so are acts of service. But sometimes just the knowledge of knowing that I care, you matter.
See, ain't nobody talking deep like that. Ain't nobody talking like that. All right, 5 more questions. Booed up, single, or we go together when we together?
Is it you're asking me what I would prefer?
No, are you?
Single. Okay. Absolutely single.
You know, some people they boot up.
But
they go together when they together.
I ain't never heard of that.
Oh boy,
we go together when we together.
You not in these streets.
Explain that. I'm not in these streets.
You're not outside too much. If you're a councilman, you're not supposed to be.
I know. I need to be in these streets. I need to know what's happening.
No, you can't.
Boot up when we together.
We go together when we together. That's the phrase that these young people are using.
So when we're not in each other's presence, we're single.
I guess I know.
Yeah, that's too complicated for me, bro. No, I'm single. Open, available, but single.
80s R&B music or 90s?
90s. I do like 80s R&B music, and I can sing it. And I did a show on Broadway. I can sing. I've done some. I can't sing, but 90s. Well, because remember, Luther was hitting hard in the 80s.
I'm talking about R&B.
Luther's R&B.
I thought you said Luke. My bad.
Luther. Luther.
Yeah, put that thug out there.
Luther.
Luke is not.
Uncle Luke.
We're in Florida, but that is not.
Wait, it's R&B for some people in Miami.
This is your counsel.
Did you know, by the way, his brother is running for U.S. Senate? Stanley Campbell, Luther's brother.
I didn't know he had a brother.
Uncle Luke's big brother is running for.
I didn't know he had a brother.
Yeah, he's running for U.S. Senate.
Okay.
Yeah, quite interesting. But no, that's a lot. We go together when we together. I'm sorry, that still ain't got past
Okay.
that.
All right. If you had to write to your boo, would you rather write a long love text message or a long love letter?
Long love letter. Texting is so. I like. Don't get it twisted. But it says SMS. What does that stand for? Do you know what that stands for?
What is it? Short
message service.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought the S was with the message.
No, short message service. That means tiny. That means not long. People try to send whole dissertations via text message. I'm not reading all that. So I'm sorry. Yes, write a letter because I can hold on to that letter. I can look at it. I can touch it. I got love letters from years ago that I still got. Right? It's a beautiful thing, man. I'm a writer. I write books. I want to stop. What I'm gonna do with the text messages? Phone breakdown. Your message gone.
All right. Let's see who you with. No limit or cash money.
Cash money. Really? He is my boy. I know. It's so hard. Cash money taking over for the 99.
Next question. All right. So
Cash money taking over for the 99,000.
So the next question.
But I love them both. I can't love both.
No, you have to be one. It's the Cav. You're on my podcast.
Nah.
But you chose cash money. So
I did. Now I love me some Mia X.
Nah, you pick cash money. It's too late. No, we move on.
Oh, man. And Romeo, my homeboy, too.
We move on. All right. Okay, so if money, health, and time wasn't an issue, what is something that you would start today? If money, health, and time wasn't an issue, what is something that you would start today?
Probably a bigger, more robust scholarship foundation. I want to see people educated, and I want it to be bigger, and I also want to get more Black folk into cultural travel. Right, I travel a lot. One of the places I haven't been yet that I wanted to go and I had planned to go right before my father passed away was Bali, Indonesia.
Okay.
I want to go more. I want to get us.
I just started doing a lot of travel. I literally got my passport in January.
Go. And I'm so glad. I'm so proud of you, man. Go. If you got to go alone, go. If you got to get, I love getting people together. Don't wait on people. Go. Life is so short. I had friends and just life is not only so short for that, man. Just be available to meeting people. Right? I'm not saying you got to go hang out with everybody you meet, but I met some of the greatest folk on a solo trip out of the country and ended up meeting cool folk. Don't be afraid to meet people. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, how are you? I'm AJ, which I know you don't. I mean, you're cool. But some people get to their thing and then they go to other countries. Like I speak a few languages. I can't tell you how many times.
He also speaks a few languages. So y'all put that on his resume too.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard people go like, oh, well, I speak American or I only speak English. Like when I go, I immerse myself. Do I happen to speak languages? Yes. But let's say it's a language that I do not speak in that area. I'm going to try to learn some of it so that I can be a part of the culture.
Okay. Last two questions.
Sure.
This question, I stole this one from, I think it's called Mad Hoffa Podcast, whatever.
Yep.
He had Killer Mike on, and it was literally.
I did, we brought him meet up, remember?
I wasn't there for that.
We hung out. I interviewed him on the
I wasn't there for that
my
one.
guy.
I missed out on that one.
Okay.
I think it's another one I missed out, but I'll talk about it later. So they was in the barbershop and they had a group, and it was this one guy, he was just saying stuff. And Killer Mike, Paul said, man, no, tell me what you like about Black people. He was like, I like the women. He's like, no. They like that too. Tell me something specifically that you love about Black people. So that question I stole. I'm not going to tell you the answer because I want to hear what you got to say. But, Councilman, tell me two things that you specifically love about Black people.
Ingenuity. Baby, I can tell you, I seen black people, as my grandmama would say, God rest her soul, sit on a dime and have a nickel change. We can take food that nobody else wants and create a delicacy. Took some hog guts and made it something that people will go and pay bunches of money for. Some guts, something that nobody else wanted because there was nothing else to eat. I've gone to the hood, the people's houses. It's supposed to be ghetto. Baby, we will take a sheet, cut it up, redo it, hang it, sew it. I have not, the ingenuity of, I'm not saying that everybody's not ingenious, but what I've seen from my folk, it is so, I'm so proud.
I'm glad you said it, because it is. Even the and I'm going to have to get lower so people understand, even the crackhead, he ain't got a pipe. He got an apple.
They done made, I was seeing something on social media the other day. The lady was like, she's a reformed crackhead. She said, baby, I could take a lawnmower engine and put it in a car and the car can go. She said she can start a car with a lawnmower engine.
It's a video of a crackhead who finally fixed the screen on the TV where it was like it was shattered. She fixed it.
I am so in awe and so honestly happy to be an African-American person, not to take anything away from anyone else, but I'm so happy. And the ingenuity of us is magic. It's magic. The other thing I think that's and it kind of goes back to what I was saying, is the resilience, right? People of color we've been counted out over and over and over and over again. Have we not?
That was the answer the man gave today. He said black people are the most resilient people.
Absolutely.
And the most forgiving people.
Oh, goodness. And I think that's a part of the resilience.
In a room full of black men, he was the only one that was able to give two answers.
Resilience and it's not about physical characteristics. People of color will be, you can walk into, think about it. Think about, and I'm having a moment here because people died. But think about the church in Charleston, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. When that white boy walked into the church, they didn't say, why you here?
Pray for him.
And he killed him.
And then last question. If you could ask God one question, what would it be?
Honestly, why me? And I really don't want to know the answer to it because I have no questions for God. I know that's crazy.
No. Once again, like some people, like we talked before, some people just don't figure out you should question God. Me, I do. And I always tell them, when I came back to Jacksonville, I'm staying on my mama couch, couldn't find work, EWC was not in the picture. I'm like, why did you bring me back? 3 days later, my grandma passed. That's why he brought me back, because he knew I would have been a basket case being in Louisiana and my grandma here. I would have been going through it. So that's me saying you should question, because he's going to answer it. Now, if you feel some other type of way, go for it. But that's my relationship with him.
I don't believe that. It's so funny. I hear friends and others, they were like, oh, I got to ask God this. I got to ask God that. And my belief is that my conversation with God is more of this whole gratitude space rather than asking, for me in my relationship. Because I believe that God in some ways sits back and laughs at, and I'm not, your situation exclusive, but I believe that God laughs at us because sometimes we'll go to God and we'll be like, hey God, should I do this or should I do that? And then I'll hear people say, well, I didn't get an answer yet. And I'm like, in my mind, God is kind of sitting up saying, hey fool, I gave you a brain. Why aren't you using the brain? I just believe that. So for me, I don't know that I have any questions. I wrote something so interesting, and I'm going to challenge you with this a little bit, and I'm not going to share all that I wrote. But have you watched the Balloon Pop show? Yeah. I don't know what do you call it? Balloon Pop?
Same thing. Okay, I get what you're saying.
I watched the Balloon Pop show, and I kept hearing people say over and over again, what kind of man or woman do you want? And they would say God-fearing. And I would hear them say God-fearing. And I'm saying, well, what does that mean? I began to unpack the statement God-fearing. Do you fear God?
24/7.
Okay, I don't fear God. I love God too much to fear God. My love for God is so insurmountable. And I remember hearing it as a kid. Everybody gets their own journey, but I remember hearing it as a kid. Oh, God is great and terrible, and God, fear you. The fear of the Lord should be in your heart. And I'm thinking as a kid, like, God is like, ooh, this big old thing in the sky, right? And the way we look at it in true misogynistic fashion is that God is this old white man in the sky, hurtling lightning bolts down and curses at people that piss him off or don't do what he says do, right? As I became an adult, what I understood is God is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. And God is love. And God is the basis of love. God, if you look, the table that we're sitting at right now has love etched into it in 29 different languages. That's on purpose. Oh, I need to pay attention. It's to remind me that everything I do should be done through the lens of love, which is the essence of what God is. That's why John Coltrane has a song. It's a jazz song called, my favorite song of all time, because the song simply says, a love supreme. It's a prayer. God's love for us is a love supreme. The love we give back, which we should and give to each other, is a love supreme, but it's based on the supreme eternal love. So I like to say that I am in love with God. All that God brings to the table, all that God brings to me, all that God has allowed me to be and do, I trust God, I love God, and she loves me right back. Now notice I said she.
Yeah.
I challenge the status quo because God is my father, but sometimes God also has to be my mother. God is whatever I need, whenever I need. And if I have the short-sightedness to put God in a little box to say, this is a man that I should fear, that's my fault.
I fear him as I fear my mother. Like, I know my mama love me, but I do. It's like I still haven't cursed around my mama. Now, she didn't heard me curse because she watched the podcast, but me say it, like, man, move that shit. I wouldn't dare.
I think that's kind of from our community.
I wouldn't dare curse in front of my mama.
I think we're all in that same vein.
Okay. Now,
I'm not. As a child, yeah, I feared my mother. But as an adult, I love my mother. So it was more reverential love than fear. And I think we use the word fear is not a word. I can look at the etymology of the word right now. It's based in negativity.
Yeah.
I don't fear. How can I fear something that loves me so much? Little me, little boy in Jacksonville from Mixon Town. God loves me. That's huge.
I fear, once again, two different people to fear.
Yes.
I fear that I might, even though he loves me 24/7, no matter what I do, I could go kill somebody, he still love me. I fear that I might miss out on his love. Because going through, like, last year.
It's a syndrome, right? FOMO. It's called FOMO. You're missing out.
This time last year, you would have asked me, AJ, are you good? And I would have said, yeah, I'd have been lying. I was going back and forth with him, like, man, what's going on? Hey, man, I'm about to be 40. What's going on? Why is this happening?
You were looking at a timetable that ain't had nothing to do with God. You know what that's got to do with? Your dysfunction.
I know, but it's just.
And I'm not saying that it's a good or bad thing. I'm just, the reality of it is,
I'm with you.
You put that on you. Don't put that on God. God didn't ask you to fear him. God asked you to love. God just commanded, the greatest of the commandments, we see it everywhere, is to love. And if you just find that space in love, you will never miss out. AJ, I tend to disagree. You were exactly where you were supposed to be last year at 40 years old.
37.
Well, close to 40.
Close to 40. Don't put me there yet.
You were exactly where you, and that's what we got to get in. I talked to a friend the other day and I was like, just say, I am amazing. I'm walking in my purpose. My friend could not say.
I'm there now. Last year, I couldn't, like, doing this, it's literally been probably one of the best decisions I ever did. But it's not about me. But
you couldn't say it, but that didn't mean it wasn't true.
True.
You were exactly where you were supposed to be in the exact space, doing what you were supposed to be doing at that time. I say it all the time. I ran for office in 1998 and won. Yes?
Yep.
I ran for office in 2002. When my term ended in 1988, 2002, when I ran for office, I lost resoundingly. I was running for the state legislature, right? And I prayed and I said, God, this is what I want to do. I'm supposed to do this. I'm doing the next thing. And I prayed and God answered my prayer, not with a cloud and somebody coming down. God sent an old man to Publix. And the man told me my prayer verbatim. Gave me a 50-cent piece, which I still have. Because he said, you that Johnson boy, ain't you? And he told me my prayer. So I got the answer that I was supposed to run. So then I said, well, God, I need to raise all this money because I know I needed money to run.
Right.
I raised more than double what everybody else raised combined. Had more money than anybody in the race. I came in dead last. And I'm like, God, I ain't got nothing to say to you right now. I ain't dealing with you. Done embarrassed me in front of all these people. I ain't got nothing to say to you right now. As I was moving throughout, I never forget, I was on the river, St. John's, and I looked out on the river and I could hear a voice and it said to me, just as clear as I'm saying to you, the lesson was in the running, not in the winning. I told you to run. I never told you you'd win. And the things I learned in that election were foundationally life-changing for me. It opened the door for so many possibilities. And the beauty is I was obedient. The next year, I was planning to go to law school. I'd taken the LSAT, done well, been accepted. Before I could get to law school, I got a call from Nickelodeon. Come on, we want you to host this national show, which is a whole nother conversation as to how that came about, because it wasn't just, we want you come about. It took a whole lot of processes that I didn't even know behind the scenes, but I made it there, right? Simply because I was available. Simply because I was ready. Simply because I was obedient. A year later, think about it. Had I been elected, I would have helped 30 million people in the state of Florida, being in the legislature. I was in 150 million households around the world. I was on Nickelodeon, leaving a message of positivity. You tell me what was more important. But we have to be available. And because I wasn't over here fearing God, but I was loving God, for me, I was in the space of saying, I learned in that time that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And every day, each step that I ordered, that I take, that I pray that is ordered in the way, I ask God, use me. That's all I ask. Not do something specific, give me a car, give me a house, use me. And as the old people say, I ain't never seen the righteous forsaken.
Councilman Johnson, this is part of the show where we give you the flow, say what you want to say, promote.
Vote. I cannot say it enough. Make a plan, tell people, do your thing. Please get out and vote. We need you to vote. I can't say it enough. I can't underscore it. Voting is so key. Please vote. That's all I can say. Thank you. It's been a great experience, man. It's been an amazing experience.
Summertime in the Calf Neighborhood Council, my brother. Thank you so much for being this. Like, you really don't understand. Like, I've been trying to have this conversation, and I'm like, who can I talk to? And just something just clicked. And man, don't you know somebody who won somewhere in Jacksonville district, something like that? And
only because it's you, because you know that I'm supposed to be off this week.
I appreciate it.
You know, you're my fault.
So, once again, thank you. I'm just a phone call.
Push the word. Make sure that people are registered.
Make sure you're registered.
And that they vote.
Make sure y'all vote. Summertime in the Calf. That's Councilman Johnson. Appreciate y'all. Look forward to this video. Boom. We out.
G14 classified. That's good.
Headline, Starlight.
DJ Star.
People be getting married on, but we just trying to catch the party. Flip it like a spatula, shorty. Got bands matching.